Happy Sunday, everybody. My name is 12 Gauge. I'm here to do my Sunday podcast. Today, we're going to talk about rebuilding trust in friendships, relationships, or any kind of situation where trust has been broken. Because this can apply to anybody. We all have times when we aren't at our best and we break people's trust, or we have lied to them or manipulated them in a way that they don't believe in us anymore. So I'm going to go over a worksheet with you guys. And like the bottom says, if you like the content, let me know with a like or a subscription. The subscription is the like or subbing to my channel. So the things that I post here are my opinion. They're educated and analytical. So this podcast is a lot more free than the true crime stuff that I do. So please be kind, leave a comment, leave a suggestion, or anything that you'd like to hear me talk on in the near future. Let's get with it. All right. How to rebuild trust. How to rebuild trust. Trust is something that has to be earned. As you begin dating your spouse, there were tons of opportunities to either earn trust or break trust. You might have shared something very personal and they listened and validated you, which shows you could trust them. When they said they'd be there for you, they followed through. Those feelings of trust continued to grow as your emotional connection got stronger. There were most likely high levels of trust in your relationship, and since you felt safe, you made the decision to do a life together forever and get married. Now let's fast forward to a few months or years into your marriage and your spouse let you down, which broke some of your trust you had in your relationship. When you've been let down, reconstructing trust can be challenging. This isn't always about infidelity, by the way, but many small matters like broken promises, frustrated hopes, bad intentions, and selfish decisions. You have to trust in marriage, or even though you have no guarantee you won't be let down again. And the most difficult thing to wrap your mind around it is you know you will be let down again because your spouse isn't perfect and neither are you. So, how does rebuilding trust work exactly? That's a great question. We define trust as a choice to be vulnerably dependent on your spouse or your friendships or your family or things of that nature. Even though we're talking about marriage today, this could be interchangeable in a lot of different areas. So, hang in there with me. Okay. Trusting your spouse who will let you down is extremely vulnerable and scary, and amazing all at the same time. Trust is one of those fundamental elements that can either make or break your marriage, and couples need to be intentional about earning back trust when it's been broken. Trusting your spouse after they've let you down might take a couple of days, weeks, or even months to repair, depending on how the big mistake was, and your spouse who broke the trust needs to make effort if they truly are sorry and want to heal the marriage. Here's where things get tricky. Rebuilding trust takes two willing people. The word there being willing. Trust is not one sided and cannot be given out freely if it hasn't been earned. So, what we're saying is that your marriage will thrive if both of you admit your mistakes, apologize, and begin the process of rebuilding trust by trying to change and make effort. Remember that it's about progress, not perfection. Where couples get into trouble is when one spouse continues to extend trust while the other spouse continues to break trust over and over again, never really wanting to change. In these situations, boundaries need to be implemented, and the spouse who broke the trust need to decide whether or not they want to stay married. Use these connecting questions as a guide to rebuild your trust in a relationship Take some uninterrupted time to work through these answers by really listening to each other, and even if it's uncomfortable, and discover a whole new way to connect. Connecting questions. Can you remember a story growing up where trust was broken and it made a big impact on you? When we were dating, what is something I did that made you feel like you could trust me? In your opinion, what does trust look like in relationships? What characteristics make someone reliable in your opinion? Do you feel like people can rely on you? Why or why not? Is there anything I have promised in the past and didn't follow through? If so, how did that make you feel? What specific areas in our relationship do you feel like we were lacking trust? Is there something I need to apologize for that chipped away at our trust? Overall, do you think we both assumed the positive of each other? Why or why not? Do you struggle with choosing comfort over courage in our marriage? Explain. Is there anyone in our life that gossips often? Can we both agree that we should be very careful with what we share about our personal life to this person? Do you feel like you can share your thoughts and feelings with me and that I will keep them safe? For parents, how can we teach our children to admit their mistakes and work on earning back trust with our friends and siblings when they've let somebody down? The action plan. It says repairing trust is a process that takes time. Don't kid yourself into thinking that you can repair broken trust with a quick statement of forgiveness and warm embrace. If you're the one who broke the trust, be patient, make effort, and show up each day and do the work to earn back the trust. If you're the one who was hurt by your spouse's mistake, start choosing to forgive so that you can free of pain and resentment you've been holding on to. Remember that you can't build trust if you don't forgive. In order to rebuild trust in your marriage, you have to assume the positive. Write down a list of 5 positive qualities about your spouse and keep them handy when trust in a relationship is tested. The moment that your thoughts start going negative, look at the list and spend time really being grateful for the good in your spouse. We all want to be dependable for our spouse in the good and bad times. Yet often our schedule is jam packed. In order to be reliable, you have to have the space to show up and be patient and present for your spouse. If you've been overcommitted we challenge you to say no to 2 things, people this week. Explain to them that if you had more time, you would help, but you're spending more time with your family. Healthy people will understand and not judge your decision to set healthy boundaries. When rebuilding trust, there will be moments when you feel like giving up or that your work is too overwhelming. Keep reminding yourself that trust is built in small drops and take advantage of the daily opportunity to earn back that trust. A few simple ways to gain trust: text your spouse while they're at work, letting them know that you love them, showing up when you say you're going to, initiate a date night, listen with empathy when your spouse shares something, work on becoming more self aware, give a warm bear hug when you get home from work. If you see a chore that needs to get done, step in and do it without having to be asked. Being honest and transparent is going to help your marriage heal and repair. Having secrets would destroy any efforts you have made with rebuilding trust and makes you look guilty. What often underlies secrecy is the fear of judgment. If you have anything that you've been keeping from your spouse, even if you're worried of making things worse, you need to come clean immediately. If you're wanting to move forward in your marriage, it will require 100% transparency. If you know you need to apologize for something, spend time this week and go through the 4 steps of apologizing. I'm sorry for this. I was wrong. How can I make this better? And will you forgive me? If trust has been continuously broken in your marriage, it's time to start getting curious as to why same things happen in your marriage. Start by asking yourself these questions. Were there high levels of trust before we got married? Has my spouse always had the qualities of a trustworthy person? Have I communicated my hurt in a healthy way? Does my spouse know how to change and rebuild trust? We teach people how to treat us, so have I been too soft by setting healthy boundaries in our marriage? Well, there you have it, folks. When you're working on trust, it's never easy because you have to constantly be vulnerable and transparent. You must have the initiative to want to work things through. There's no finger pointing, there's no blaming, they're just acknowledging the situation that you understand are causing problems in your relationship. And like I said, it doesn't just have to do with marriage, even though it's talking about marriage. It can do with dating and being deceitful or not intentionally trying to hurt somebody, but hurting them in the process. We're not perfect as humans. We make mistakes, but not owning up to our mistakes or being honest about our mistakes or our insecurities, all these type of things, they end up hurting us in the long run. They end up causing more distance between us and the people we love and care about because we're too prideful to acknowledge that we can't let go or that we were wrong. So if you have issues with this, I suggest that you look at the reasoning behind your trust issues. Did you come from a family where there was a lot of inconsistency? Did you get lied to? Do you have abandonment issues? Do you have issues where it comes to, I'm going to get rid of you before you get rid of me? All these things can lead to problems because somebody can tell you something, they can show you, but in your mind, you need to have one step out the door because you've been hurt before. But it's not the person's problem who you're engaging this new relationship with, whatever it may be, a friendship or um, a work relationship. It could be teacher student. It could be, you know, venturing out after being hurt by somebody. Maybe after divorce, you've always felt there's no way I'm going to venture out because I trusted somebody with my heart and they totally annihilated me. So you have to learn to trust yourself before you could ever trust anybody else. And when it comes to trusting yourself, you must go through the work that it takes to learn how to care for yourself again, learn how to love you again, learn how to be there for yourself, and learn how to enjoy time with yourself. Because oftentimes we go from friendship to relationship, and we never take the time to repair what is wrong and we continue to um, recreate in our lives. So find out what the pattern is. What is your pattern? What keeps you doing the same thing over and over and over and getting the same result? And learn how to fix it. Do it afraid. Because once you do it afraid and you come out on the other side successful, you won't be as fearful the next time around. I hope that you've enjoyed this short um, video. It has a lot of valuable information. And if you're having issues in your relationship and you want to work on it, find a pastor, find a counselor, find a family therapist, find somebody that you can talk to, that you can continue to rebuild yourself. They can rebuild themselves, and hopefully you can reconnect back together. Because you can't change another person. You know, the biggest misconception is, well, we're taking a break to work on ourselves. Why do you need a break if the problem is you together? Why should you take a break if the problem is you getting along together? Taking a break is saying that I'm going to do something for me that doesn't include you. That's why I'm saying you should go to therapy, you should talk to a preacher, pastor, whatever it is that somebody can give you professional advice. Don't be just talking to your girlfriends or your guy friends because they're going to be on your side anyway. They're going to be biased. So go to a professional who can guide you through the areas of change that you want to achieve. And like it said in that handout, it's going to take time because you realize that you didn't get sick in your relationship overnight because usually it starts out great. Usually it starts out amazing. You have the honeymoon stage, you have those stages where you're just euphoric. And then all of a sudden life gets in the way and you start drifting apart. You start having different needs and wants. And before you know it, you don't even know the person anymore that you're in a relationship with because you stopped growing together and you started growing apart because for whatever reason you started trusting other things more than you trusted your relationship. So do yourself a favor, and if you really want to try something different in a relationship, give it 40 days. Give it 40 days. And those 40 days, work on you. And those 40 days, work on the relationship. Don't expect change instantly. And whatever you do, don't hold things against the other person if they start doing them right after you said you stopped. Well, you said you stopped yelling at me, and now you're yelling at me. You said you stopped cussing at me, and now you're cussing at me. You said that you'd be home more, and you're still not here. That's not going to help anything because people know what they do, especially grown up. They should. If they don't, then you're not dating or you're not married to a grown up. You are dating a child and you're married to a child. So, therefore, that's part of your problem. So, work on yourself, do some self care, get honest with yourself, and really reflect on this relationship if it's worth saving. If you've tried these things and it still goes back to what it used to be, maybe it's not worth saving. Maybe it's worth moving on. Well, this is 12 gauge, and like I said, I wanted to get on here and let you guys and give you guys a little bit of information on this podcast. Unfortunately, we will not be going live tonight. Jeff had some obligations, and we stayed on there 4 hours last night, so I'm pretty lived out for now. But we will be going live this week, and I will just be looking at the community post, and I will definitely post whenever we're going to go live. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for the love. And thank you for the support. Tell your friends this is where it's at. Not that I'm competing with anybody but myself. So tell your friends, hey, come support the 12 gauge and come support Jeff H. Because as a team, we're pretty damn good. Apart, I still feel we're pretty damn good. So, um, I guess that's all I got to say. I'm going to close it with the intro and let you guys go on with your Sunday business. Hope you guys aren't too sleepy from the time change. Have a great week. And remember, the only person you can change you is you. Try to love yourself more than you loved yourself yesterday. Peace out, y'all.